The Baylor Lady Bears. Rebecca, I would love to hear from you on what you've seen all season long. They come into the NCAA tournament on a 23-game winning streak. I mean, they haven't seemed to slow down at all during the regular season.
I think everyone kind of got their eyes open to Baylor when they beat UConn and the way they did. They dominated them. They were terrific on the defensive end of the floor. They limited UConn offensively in ways that we haven't seen in a really long time. And Kalani Brown and Lauren Cox inside, Coach talked about them. The team seemed to be ready for the moment. They were ready for that moment, and as the season's gone on, I felt like every time they've had a challenge, whether it was Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game or whatever, they were ready for that moment. And perhaps it's because they have players who are upperclassmen now, who have been there, who understand what it feels like to lose and not make it to the Final Four. But this is a team that seems poised and ready to finally make a trip to the Final Four.
And this is a team that's coached by Kim Mulkey, one of the great competitors to ever play in this tournament. She has the ability to get a team's and individuals' attention, get them to play at their highest level.
Well, this is one of those games that I feel like me and Rebecca will like, or a team that we like, because 45 points a game are scored in the paint.
Of course.
You know, so of course we're going to like whatever team does that, Charlie. But they are the #1 overall seed, and I'm curious, how much separation were there between Baylor and maybe the rest of the 1 seeds?
Not a lot, because I just don't think there was a lot of separation among these top 5 to 6 teams, period. However, Baylor established itself as that overall #1 seed right around the time that they did beat UConn and stayed there for the run. So from that perspective, not a surprise. And Baylor never let go of that position that they held. And they deserve to be the #1 overall seed. And I think this bracket sets up very nicely for them, too. Their size, their ability to rebound, and some of the teams that they would potentially be matching up with are not going to be able to rebound and play inside the way Baylor can. I think maybe Baylor's got a nice path to the Final Four.
Yeah, I would say, too, Baylor only had 1 loss this season, and it was on the road. It was at Stanford, which is a team that's surging now, too. What, if anything, could be a kryptonite to Baylor? I mean, what is something that they could come across that a team does well that maybe they haven't seen so far this season?
Well, one of the things that hurt them in the game against Stanford was Kalani Brown played a significant amount of minutes, or sat a significant amount of minutes on the bench, and you know, some of that was Kim Mulkey just putting her there. Some of that could be foul trouble. So I think that would be one of those things that could hurt them, is if, in particular, Kalani Brown got into foul trouble, if Lauren Cox got into foul trouble. Although they have Alyssa Smith coming in off the bench as a post player who is a really nice young player, but she is young, only a freshman, and those other 2 have the experience.
You know, I'm impressed with the way Baylor plays, but sometimes I wonder about their tempo. They have the ability to run. Their bigs have the ability to transition well, get to the rim early. Their guards certainly have the ability to push, and they do that. But if they can't score out of transition, they tend to back it out and slow it down. Almost a little too slow. And I wonder if they can't dictate those 2 tempos offensively, how effective they would be.
All right, well, the good news is we might have some questions, but we're going to get answers from Kim Mulkey, the Lady Bears head coach, after the break. They've been to 16 consecutive NCAA tournaments, and all of them have been under Mulkey.
The